Hi, I'm Joni De Winter.
And I am Susan Grant.
And we are Bell Street.
Who are an events band and production company.
And we're here to talk to you about our fun and failures.
On our journey from being scared to doing it anyway.
And today we have a really fantastic guest for you. We really enjoyed talking to him.
His name is Benedict Hurley. He is an actor, choreographer,
guru, self-proclaimed guru as well.
We have worked with him a couple of times and we've really enjoyed talking to him once again about his process, of his creativity in all the different things that he's doing throughout his life.
And if you're a creative who is looking for some inspiration, or if you have teenagers in your life, or if you're dealing with performing through some trauma or some grief, we cover all these topics today and he has some really great advice. It was really great to catch up with him and hear his pearls of wisdom.
So do enjoy Benedict Hurley, and we're going to listen again, I think, to it.
Yeah, let's.
Well, we are here this evening, actually, with Ben Hurley, who is here to talk to us about his exciting career and his past in the entertainment industry. And we were just saying, what would you like to be introduced as? And so we didn't really decide what you are and what you do, because you do so many things. So Ben, take it away.
I don't know. I am Benedict Hurley, thank you.
I like that better, yeah.
Professional. Mm-hmm. And also my parents hated me. Benedict Hurley, I am an actor. And then I follow that up with, and I'm also a tutor and I run a kids theatre group and I do lots of role play, and because I feel like I need to apologise when I say I'm an actor, because people say, well, that's not a real job. What else do you do?
I get quite a lot like, oh, but do you do it full time? Not acting, because I don't do
Well, no, or have you been in EastEnders? Yes, actually. Yes.
You have.
Back in 2022 for one scene, but I was in EastEnders.
So yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Therefore you are an
Yes.
actor.
Yeah.
A real one.
Yeah.
And Casualty?
Well, but Holby City, were you in?
No, Casualty.
No, just
Actual
Casualty.
Oh, I think
Not
I
just Casualty.
No, but I just
BBC
named.
Primetime, thank you.
Aren't you a regular?
No, it's principal cast.
Principal
Thank
cast.
you.
Sorry, not even just a supporting actor.
No.
Okay.
I used to be. That's where I got my TV experience, really.
Mm-hmm.
There's this thing in the industry, and I hate it, where there's this massive disparity between the cast and supporting artists. And I'm like, well, you stop being a person on set when you become a supporting artist.
Really?
Absolutely.
And then is there like a hierarchy? Is it then extra?
Yes.
Then-
Well, don't say extras.
Oh, you're not.
Mm.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay.
Everyone
Supporting
is fine.
artists. Supporting artists.
Oh, so that's what. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's not even further below.
No,
So
it's
supporting
just-
artist
But
is
there
what you
have
would
been-
used to call in the old
In
days.
with the extras, yeah.
Okay.
But even then, there's sometimes you can have a hierarchy between the extras as well. And I'm kind of
Really?
like, guys, you're not sat in an office. You haven't got a boss breathing down your neck. You're not chasing targets. You've got, it's a fun job. Don't take it so seriously. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. You work. So we went to university together
We did.
a long, long time ago. Back in 2018.
Not all three of us.
Not all three of us.
No.
Don't know her.
He didn't gesture to the. Well, that's why I didn't know your surname.
Yes.
Who's this man on my sofa?
We went to university together, and we were talking about this earlier. We're theatre trained,
Yeah.
so I got my TV training, I guess, on set as a supporting artist. It's where I learnt jargon, so
Supporting artist.
supporting artist, but just what a mark was, and about eye lines and turning and just things we never would have known. And then I got to watch actors. It's such a completely different way of acting than theatre, and everything's so minute. and everything. And you'd be in the background, and the third assistant director who looks after the supporting artist would come over and say, "Can you go on this line?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then the actors would start filming, and they're like, and I'm just like, and they'd come over and be like, "You didn't go on the line." I'm like, "I can't hear anything." They're whispering because they're mic'd, and they do. Whereas on stage you project, and on TV they all do like this, and they do the most minuscule of facial expressions because the camera's there and it picks up on everything.
So you trained in theatre.
Trained in theatre.
And so does that mean you prefer, if you were choosing like dream acting job, would you prefer like theatre acting? Or now you, like when you were talking about television, you didn't talk about it as...
I enjoy television. I love theatre. I just like the immediacy. I like having an audience there. I like... Oh, hell, I like the applause. We're egotistical, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's why we do it. I love being someone else for a bit because you can switch off, and no matter how crap your day has been, you can walk out on that stage and forget about it because you're someone else.
Yeah.
And then I love the applause. No, okay. I don't care if it makes me big-headed. There's a fine line between arrogance...
Well, you're on the right sofa to say that.
Oh, right. There's a fine line between arrogance and confidence, and I am confident in my ability. I'm not arrogant with it. But now people are like, well, you said he's not arrogant, so obviously he's arrogant.
But there is an immediate... You go out there and you have an energy with you, and you are a character, and then it's over.
Yeah, but also a story. It's, especially if you're doing a full production, musical, play, whatever, you're carrying a story through. So on set, you could be doing a scene and something goes wrong, and you go cut, and then you go again, and which again is a massive skill set, and it's a skill to be able to pick up exactly how you're feeling, convey that. I like being exposed. And you are when you're on stage. There's an audience there, and you're like, I have to sell it for them so that they believe what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
If they're not feeling what I'm feeling, I'm not doing my job.
There's an energy exchange in theatre, isn't
yes,
it? It sounds like a really poncy thing to say. Like, but there is like a proper exchange of energy that you don't get, I imagine, nor the TV I've been on. I've literally never been on TV.
It's like a Glinda flick. Was that meant
It
to
was
be?
a Glinda
Toss.
flick.
Well,
Toss.
all my family have been on TV.
Have they?
Yeah. It was Tots TV and like the local news, but TV's TV, isn't it?
Tots TV as in, I am a dog, she's sweet and
dumb and tiny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my sister's been on that.
Was your sister Tilly, the doll?
No, she was riding a donkey.
Oh.
Not like a horse, she was riding a donkey.
Riding a donkey.
Anyway.
With what do they use for jousting back in the...
I don't know. What are they called?
What are they called?
The pokey... No, anyway.
Pokey stick.
Anyway, that's a slight aside. With all my TV experience, now I've forgotten the question, because I'm just thinking about how annoyed I am that all my family have been on TV, not me. Hang on. No, the energy exchange.
The energy exchange.
Yes. And that is what is fun about performing, isn't it?
And you have one shot. And
You
you have
do.
to get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas when you are filming, you can go back. As annoying as it is, and when you laugh, you can go back. And
Yeah.
and
And it's a skill to get yourself out of something if it goes wrong on stage. Mm-hmm. And to fix that. And sometimes fix it without the audience knowing. And sometimes they absolutely know. And then having that connection with the audience where you can joke about it and make it into something to then continue.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, do you remember when you went wrong? But it was so funny and blah, blah, blah. That's a skill. And and some people have that like innate skill where they can do that. Or it's something you can learn with experience and with time. And some people really haven't got it. And something will go wrong and it throws them completely.
Yes.
And that's always fun to watch too. It's not...
Any embarrassing moments or awkward moments spring to mind?
For me...
Theatre or screen?
I did a amateur production of Beauty and the Beast. 2010. And on our Saturday matinee production, the set collapsed. So we had these big champagne bottles for Be Our Guest with her pyrotechnics coming out the top, and it was all singing or dancing.
What, amateur?
Yeah.
That's fun.
And someone in the crew, not naming any names, put one of those really big, heavy champagne bottles on the lip of... So a cloth had come in a little bit too much, and there was just a little lip. And just rested it against one of the flats, and it was on the lip of this this cloth. And when the cloth went out in Act 2, this domino effect happened. From the back, this champagne bottle knocked, and then the flats just started cascading forwards towards the audience. So I ran as Beast in this massive sheer wig that I had on, ran over to the front tab, and so I'm stood there like this, and then Lumiere was running around with his hands and
What's he gonna do?
He's going, oh no, and he ran over, he's like, should I take these off? I was like, no, you'll ruin it for the kids. And
What, not
Colsworth was just stood there going, tabs. And the guy who played Gaston, bless him, just went forward. We brought the front of house curtains in, and he just chatted to the audience in character for a few minutes whilst we rebuilt the set. And then we carried on. And continued with the show, and some people, I spoke to a friend a couple of years afterwards, went, oh shit, I just thought it was part of the show. I'm like, what, when the set collapsed? When did that happen in the film? When was that? Where was that bit?
Special version.
But you adapt and overcome, I guess.
Do you think improvisation is a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's a really brave thing to be able to do, and there's a lot of improvised shows around at the minute. They're really popular, aren't they?
So, there is a definite skill set with improv that a lot of stand-up comics have it, obviously, like with heckling and with like, they'll instantly react to something. But then I've been to see like professional pantos, and things have gone wrong, and then I had friends in them, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, that's all rehearsed," and you're kind of like, "Oh,
it's disappointing."
And it ruins the illusion, doesn't it? And then you look at, I saw an improvised show before.
Yeah.
I won't say who the company were. I don't want to badmouth anyone. It was a great show. Where...
We tell us afterwards.
Yeah. Where they asked for input from the audience. But there will be set songs.
Yeah.
And then you just insert the location of where someone has said.
I was going to say, there is normally some sort of...
There's like stock
structure.
Situations and stock characters, and then you'll just adapt. So it's absolutely doable, where you can make it look as if the whole thing is improvised. We're like, oh, we're making this song up on the spot based on what you've just said, but actually it's the same song we're doing Tomorrow's Town with just some different characters that you've also said.
And once you get used to it as well, I can imagine once you get in the flow and your brain works in that way.
Yeah. And as a team, you learn, like, oh, you're always going to make a joke that's a bit that way, and I'm going to... I guess that...
So there is a structure in the chaos of it, and from seeing a few different comedy acts, and but it's always so clever. If it's done well, it is so clever.
Really clever, really clever.
It's like almost more clever than acting. And like, or it's a whole different.
It's the really thinking on your feet thing.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll see, and you'll get some actors who, on stage, for example, who cannot deviate. Like this is my blocking. These are my lines. I must do this. And then you'll have others who a situation can occur and will throw something new into the mix, and they'll go, okay, cool. So yes, and is just responding to that. It's not blocking. So if I ask you a question in an improv setting, and you just go, no, then we can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas if you say yes, and you can carry that on and build on it, and then a situation, it can go anywhere.
Okay, yeah.
Whereas if I said, did you fly here on your dragon today, and you go, no. Then I just look like a dick, and you're like, who's this guy? Yeah.
Where's my dragon?
Yeah. Where's my?
Why would they do that?
Yeah. Blame my dragon. Welsh fans. Whereas if I said, did you fly here on your dragon? You'd be like, yeah, but his wing's really poorly, and then we could talk about the Dragon Hospital, and you know, and it's ridiculous, and it's all absurd stuff, but it's not all absurd stuff, but that situation is. But it can build, and it can go anywhere. So don't block. Don't be a blocker.
I would never.
Oh my God.
I just didn't know the game.
And do you, talk about, as well as being an actor.
I am an actor.
You do
But also other stuff.
run very successful.
I do run
youth
youth
groups.
theatre. Just the one group
Just
now.
the one group, right?
Multiple over the years. So I've always taught since uni, really. So since moving back to Wales after Middlesex, in one capacity or another, I've taught. But the current group, and I've taught adults, but the current group I'm with, I've had for 12 years. So Dolman Theatre Works, little shout out to my kids. We predominantly look at acting, but we do a pantomime at Christmas, although we're doing a musical this Christmas, which is the first time we've ever done one.
Okay.
So we're doing Elf, Junior, kids. And I love it. I love it. They're teenagers. They're hard work. They're generous with what I ask of them. They're not afraid to look stupid. They are very outspoken, but I applaud that. I'm also their counsellor sometimes, which is lovely, that they have a space where they can be open and honest and have someone that they feel they can trust. Yeah, I just love it. I love it. They're my kids, you know, but they're not obviously my kids, because if I had 28 kids, that would cost me a lot of money.
Would.
But yeah, so I've been teaching in lots of different capacities for years and years and years.
With teenagers,
Yes.
it's a really interesting age. We've talked about it recently. With the kind of seems to be like you kind of split off into two ways when you're a teenager. You either have this kind of confidence that kind of like booms, or you have like a kid who has all this confidence and kind of become a teenager and kind of shrinks.
It's really tricky, isn't it? Because at kind of that like 11, 12 age, there's something happens.
Yeah.
And they either say, fuck it, I don't care what you think about what I do or how I look, or it's all they care about. And there seems to be no middle ground, is there? There's no kind of like, and I think a lot of that now, it's always been a thing, you know, like I said, before smartphones and before social media and all that, there's always been that not wanting to step out of your comfort zone element. I had it into my like 20s, you know. It was, I knew I could sing, and I thought that was enough. And then I knew I could dance, and I was like, well, that's fine, because I could sing and dance. And I was always scared of being exposed as an actor, of feeling vulnerable, of looking silly. So I get it, I do get that. But when you, and it's hard to get through to a teenager, especially, that the sillier you look, the more you just give into it, the better your performance will be. It is tricky.
How do you find that? Have you seen that? Or do you think people mainly kind of quit then, you know, like how most girls like check out of PE when they're 13?
Yeah, like,
and they're like, no, it's like statistically, like girls give up. Like,
I don't know, it's hard now with social media and stuff as well, isn't it? I wouldn't want to be a kid now.
No.
You know, I think we've we were lucky that what happened in school stayed in school, whereas it can follow you home now, can't? And there seems to be, and I've seen it a lot on social media lately, where people can just say whatever the hell they want about anyone, about any demographic, about any section of society. They can tell people that they hate them or that they should do awful things to themselves, and they just crack on about their day. And I don't understand how anyone can do that. And I know do it in the name of politics or religion or this, that, and the other. And it's like, just be nice. Just be nice. Just be a nice person.
And there are so many filters out
Yeah.
there to stop certain things, but they're very little filters for things actually that get through.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's weird. And I do feel at the minute for younger generations. God, it sounds so old. But it feels old.
Younger.
You've had a busy day.
Yeah, I've had a
Probably
busy
do
day.
feel-
Busy day.
yeah.
But because we don't, and everything's changing so fast. What is coming next? You know, and how is that landscape going to look for? Well, not even just a teenager now, but younger kids, because these younger kids now don't know a world without iPads and iPhones and Nintendo Switches and their tablets and their homework being on Google Drive and and Seesaw and everything else. It's everything. Everything is digital. Everything is accessed online. You got kids starting primary school with American accents because they picked it up from YouTube, and it's like
Especially around COVID time.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
My kids go to the store. Like, so they'll say, I'm just going to go to the store. And I'm like, what do you mean? The store? They go to the store. I'm like, shop. It's a shop.
Shop.
It's a shop.
Or
Anyway.
spa.
It's just an interesting age, isn't it? And I feel
Yeah,
like
it
just
is.
doing something that's so out there at such a vulnerable age is really important. If you can create a safe space, I think you're doing really well. You must have watched like some serious like whole transitions of you've been doing it for 12 years.
And it's and I've noticed that, I mean, kids now are a lot more vocal.
Right.
A lot more vocal. And they have a strong sense of justice, which is great, and will absolutely shout down other kids who they believe are in the wrong. And I'm like, yeah, good, do it. Stand your ground. Like, absolutely, guys. But it's interesting. It keeps me on my toes. But I wouldn't not do it. I wouldn't change it. I just love it. And it's so rewarding.
How many in your group?
At the moment, 28, which is a manageable number. I find you have too many, and it's crowd control.
28 would be too many to me. I would be like...
But they're good kids, and they sometimes listen.
Yeah.
You know? And when you get to see them on stage doing their thing, it's so rewarding, you know. And a lot of them probably aren't going to go on into the arts, and that's okay, because it's also, like you said, I've given them a safe space for a couple of years. They've built their social skills, they've built their confidence. I absolutely think kids should join groups outside of school, make friends outside of school, because school can be suffocating and claustrophobic and isolating and all those awful things. And it's good to have an escape, and it's good to go and find your tribe, I guess. And I've got a bunch of weirdos on a Saturday morning, and they're all a bit weird, and I tell them they're all weird. Well, they'd have to be weird to do the stuff we do. But
they found
it's
each
finding
other.
people with the same kind of weird, isn't
Yeah.
it? And I think that's really, really important. So I'm a guru, really.
Yes, of course you are.
Yeah.
Guru. Yes.
So avid listeners of Subject Change
Yes.
from teenagers, avid listeners of our podcast, which you're not.
No.
This is all a surprise. Isn't
I
it?
found out yesterday I was doing this, by the way.
We had
Susan-
asked you
We
before.
booked
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I received a text from Susan saying, would you do our podcast? I said yes. that's how much I was asked before.
Well,
So like when last night Susan said, "Oh, you're doing the podcast tomorrow," and I went, "Am I?"
yes.
So you discussed it with Joni.
Yes, I just forgotten I hadn't communicated that with you. We knew you were coming to come and stay for a couple
I'm
of days.
guessing your PA just didn't.
Even crossed wires between
right.
PAs, I think.
Yeah.
If you have listened to the podcast before, that there is you have actually been quoted on our Magic and Tragic episode in season 1.
Yeah.
And just remind me, what was the context of the Magic and Tragic episode? It's been so long since I listened to it.
It was mainly about death and trauma.
Yes.
It was about performing through trauma.
Yes.
And that's where we'd both had lots of things going on, and we'd go and listen to it. It's a very good episode.
Both had horrendous years, and we were thinking, who else has had to perform through trauma? And I thought, my friend Ben.
Yes.
So you wrote a quote for that.
Did I?
I'm sure you can remember.
We've talked a lot about this though. Late night phone calls and saying stuff, and it's just like, that should be on a podcast. And here we are. Here we are on a podcast.
The preamble to this podcast, as always, was excellent. But we didn't record any of it. But there were some vast subjects covered.
I said some great shit, guys.
You did, and you missed it.
And now you'll never know.
Because of our technical issues.
Not one bit. Yeah, stupid iOS updates. So I said, so we're talking about, what was the question?
I was just saying to people
that
they may have heard your quote before, and then I thought we could talk a bit more about it, just to really lighten the mood.
So my quote was that it's an outlet. It gives you something to focus on, and also gives you the opportunity to put a mask on and escape the reality of the situation. I also said it's much easier for me to cry in character now, because I'd always struggled before that.
So performing is an outlet.
Yeah. And I said, I think I have a load of unprocessed grief. It's easier to tap into that, to get the tears flowing when needed. Which is true, which I have. So I lost, what year are we in, 2025? I lost my dad 12 years ago in May. He dropped dead of a heart attack. And I lost my mum 10 years ago in July, who died very quickly of an aneurysm. And that was what got me back into performing. So I'd gone to uni and I'd moved back home and was saving up to move back to London for the summer. And it's been a really long summer, 22 years later. And I met someone and life took over, and I was doing amateur stuff and I was teaching a bit, and I was like, well, I've still got my outlet, and I made a life for myself in Newport. And then me and my ex broke up, and then my dad passed away, and it kind of pulled the rug from under us. And getting over that, the 2 years that followed that, was just difficult. Like, it kind of, you become a parent for your parent. And my mum, like, she didn't drive, and she'd obviously heavily relied on my dad for like getting about and stuff. And then suddenly our schedules changed to accommodate that. And like I said, I'm the youngest of 6. And we all chipped in different ways. And then when my mum passed, I don't know, I guess we were already quite down, so you don't have as far to fall. And the day I went back into work, so I used to work for a telecoms company, and I was an area account manager. I hated it. And the day I went back into work, they announced someone in my team would be going. And I just took that as an opportunity, I guess. And then people were like, well, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to be an actor. And they said, no, what are you really going to do? And I was like, I'm going to be an actor. And then as I left, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? 6 weeks after my mum died, I was in a production of Into the Woods at the time, which is an awful show. Wonderful show.
Oh, right.
Wonderful show. Awful show to grieve through.
Oh, okay, yes.
Because it's all about being left on your own.
Yeah. Yes, okay.
In the woods with no one to guide you. And I was like, and again, and it was that I met with the director of the show, and we went for coffee. We literally, week after my mum died, and he was like, are you still going to do the show? And I was like, haven't really thought about that at the minute. Can I bury my mum first, and then we'll discuss? But I didn't want to let anyone down, and it was, again, an outlet, I guess. And it was an opportunity to wear a mask for a bit and to forget. Regardless of the context of the show and what was happening in it, I got to just switch off for a little bit. And also channel. Have moments in, where my character would get upset or emotional, and channel my grief through that. I don't know, it's difficult. It's difficult. I'm still grieving, It's been 12 years and 10 years, and I'm 44 and sometimes feel like I'm 12, and I haven't got my parents to, be on the other end of the phone or tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I'm being the youngest of 6. I've got a lot of older siblings who like to tell me what to do. But it's not the same, It's not the... But I was also very lucky to have the parents I had, because I know not everyone has that either. And I'm forever grateful for the life they gave me.
And for being supported in the arts as well, to a certain point.
Yeah. And you know what? They didn't want me to do it. My mum made me join a choir when I was 9. And I teenage boyed it. I was like, oh, I hate it. And I went to Switzerland and Norway and Italy and Austria, and I had these amazing experiences, which I totally didn't appreciate because I was a teenage boy. I'm like, oh, I gotta go to choir. Oh, I hate it. And then when I went to high school, and teachers were like, oh, you can sing. Come and do drama, do school shows. And my mum was like, this wasn't the plan. You're not supposed to develop this skill that I forced upon you. And then when I said I wanted to do performing arts in college, it was kind of, but then what you're going to do? You can't be a doctor or a teacher if you do that. And I guess there was always a level of uncertainty from them of what does the future look like if this is the path you follow. And I've always been an advocate of follow your dreams, do it, absolutely do it. And when I've been teaching my kids and they're like, I want to go into the arts, I'm like, just go for it. Go, run at it blindly and don't plan anything else, just chase everything. I don't do that anymore. The industry has changed a lot. And for anyone listening who is thinking about doing this, have some backups, have some other skills under your belt, have some strings to your bow. There's so much focus on diversity, which is fantastic, which is absolutely amazing. There should be. It's just in a weird place at the minute where there's a very strong focus on diversity, so things will, in time, level out a bit, which they will. Being gay isn't ticking in a box anymore because everyone in the arts is gay.
It's not diverse.
It's not diverse. I'm not diverse enough.
You're just common.
I'm just common. Unless I'm in America where I shouldn't exist. But also, how many Instagram followers you've got? How many? If you've been on a reality show, it's and you're seeing more and more of this faddy kind of stars appear in West End shows and And that makes it daunting because you're like, well, you know, I started my training at 9. Here I am 35 years later, still learning, still training, still honing my craft. When all I need to do is go on TikTok and make a tit of myself, and then I could be Jean Valjean in Les Mis in 6 months, you know? And that's scary because you're like, that is a reality.
And you've put in so much work.
Yeah.
So much work.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, you're like, am I selling myself short by not taking that opportunity, by trying to be a responsible and professional and dedicated actor, or I could just make some videos of me dance. I'm not diminishing any influencers or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I just think the landscape has completely changed.
And I think everyone in the arts is saying that whatever kind of art place you're doing, it's all to put money behind you and to be employed. It is about how many followers you have on whatever platform and stuff. And that is crazy because it's just like crowd led casting, which is you can understand because then there's no funding to the arts, so people need to make money and it's really hard to sell tickets to things. But at the other end of that, it's like if your skills aren't in social media marketing, then you're missing out on a whole generation of creatives. I
am shit at social media. Really shit at it. Because it's a self-promotion thing. And it's, again, like with the start of this podcast, I'm an actor, but I'm also this. And I also do these other things because I feel like I need to apologise for being an actor. So I can't then go on social media and say, I was in this and I'm amazing. So I don't. So then
maybe you should.
I absolutely should.
You told us to own it earlier.
I know.
Yeah, you told us off.
I did. You missed that bit. It didn't happen. They're lying. It's hard. It's hard to blow your own trumpet, isn't it?
But this is also where you working with younger people is good. I mean, for those of you listening, we talk about where we're from, which is Shaftesbury, where we live at the moment, where we're based. And we have the Arts Centre here, which, again, we talk about a lot. And you have come along this half term to do a 2-day workshop.
Obviously, you don't live in Shaftesbury.
I don't live in
Not
Shaftesbury.
with that accent, you don't.
I don't have an accent. I don't know what you mean.
But this is the second time you've been over into England.
I think it is down.
Down.
Yeah.
And over.
A bit.
Yeah.
Across and down.
To come and work with our youth theatre as well, and which is great because it's great for me to see you again and to work together, but 2, it brings a freshness, and you have got so much experience and energy, far more than I have. It's
all smoke and
mirrors. Yeah, but he had a nap.
You did have a nap.
I did.
When did you last have a nap, Susan?
I don't remember.
1992.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you talked a bit about training and stuff earlier. When we went into university, I mean, I was always very shy. I knew I wanted to go into arts, and I knew I very much got into dance and contemporary dance. The course we did was a BA in performing arts, but you specialised in one subject.
You majored in music, dance, or drama.
So, because I wasn't a pure dancer, I never felt that I was I wasn't in the dancing gang. But drama scared me. Yeah, I wasn't really allowed in the drama lot. And the musos, so actually...
Was it High School Musical?
Was it
that table scene in High School Musical?
Stick to the status quo, absolutely.
And the fact you said that you went in thinking, I don't know about acting. I mean, you were everyone's favourite, though. You went in, you were friends for the 3rd years.
I know.
Immediately.
I had this conversation with someone recently. I wasn't popular in high school, and I had a taste of it in college, but college I was kind of like trying to find my feet a bit as that kind of 17, 18, I think I'm an adult, but I'm really not. And then went to uni and was popular. And I was popular.
You were popular.
Sorry.
toss.
Again, confidence and arrogance. Fine line. But I was popular for probably the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think I handled it right. I don't think I navigated it well because I didn't know how to. So yes, I was friends with everyone and people in the third year and loads of people in the second years and like loads of groups in our year.
You were the person to know.
And then when it got to like the end of the first year and people had kind of got their housing group sorted and I was just kind of like, I haven't got that gang, you know? And then I moved in in the second year, I moved in with some third years who were lovely and I loved it and I did love it. I had a great time. And then they left uni and it was kind of like a lot of people lived with the same people in the second and third year. And there was this fear, I guess, of where do I fit again? Which I'd kind of manufactured myself by being popular, which was weird because I thought, because you watch American TV stuff in the 90s, which was the best era.
It was the best era for TV.
Best era.
Yeah.
And you see these popular kids and like, oh my God, they got everything. And it was lonely. And I didn't realise popularity also meant you could be lonely. So and again, you know, as I've got older, you do realise it's not about the quantity of the people, it's the quality of the people you keep. Which is why she's still hanging around. And it is. People fall by the wayside as you go along a bit, don't they? Mm-hmm. I don't know what the question was, but
I don't know what the question was. I was just trying to remember. I've literally seen you as Glinda now, so
He pretty much was Glinda.
were you?
Yeah, but with blue hair? No.
No,
No,
all
spiked
colours,
hair. Yeah.
all colours here. So I went to Hollywood Hair in Southgate one day. They used to have hair models where you could go down and they could do whatever, and you go cool and not have to pay very much money
Yeah,
for it
but
because
you
they were
have to let
they
them
were
do whatever.
testing out. So, but they would also bring you wine.
That is such a good tactic.
And there's super swanky salon, and they had all these TVs that with all like Paris Fashion Week models on there, and you're like, cool. And again, I had hair then, and a jawline, and I was like, yes, you can do whatever you want. And
It'll
this
look amazing.
guy, Mediterranean-y hairdresser came over and he was like, do you want to like what I've got? And I was like, yeah, sure. So he shaved the left side of my head and put 2 tram lines in because 2003, so why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Then the right side of my head was probably about 1.5 to 2 inches long, but black, white, and copper. White. But also, I was pissed while this was happening. So they would cut your hair for free, but you had to pay for any colour.
Okay.
And then, obviously, they sell you the product as you're leaving. This is the product we use.
Yeah.
You need it. Okay, cool, because I'm pissed.
Yeah.
So £112 later, the fact I can, 22 years
can
later,
still remember
how much it cost.
That's
As a student.
expensive.
As a student,
That's expensive. for 25 years
£112.
ago.
So when I used to phone my mum, I'd be like, I got no money. That's why, good job she's not here anymore to listen to this. I didn't mean that, take it back. She can hear everything. I went home, walked home, sobered up on the way home because of air.
Yes. It goes one way or another.
One way or another, didn't fall over, sobered up. Got home, looked in the mirror, and went, oh.
I really want there to be photographs.
Is there a
What's
photo?
this?
I want that to
I don't
happen.
think there is.
Because I have my photo album of our university.
But
this is not.
This is
you,
third year.
You were not.
So,
No.
yeah, no. First year,
Did
I had
they
normal
take
hair.
pictures, the place?
Oh, I don't know.
Were you like...
I sure hope
He was
not.
drunk.
I was drunk. They could have taken
I can't
anything.
remember.
Could be nudes out there. I don't know.
I think that's another thing about social media. I'm really pleased that social media wasn't
Absolutely,
a thing
because
back then.
because I had cornrows.
No, I didn't have cornrows because I've got this forehead.
I had
My
cornrows.
friend had,
for-
it's a whole other story. But
Only for like a week.
yeah.
So my hair was gingery at the time.
Why?
I used to dye it different colours all
Okay.
the time. Kind of longish. long enough to have cornrows. So I had cornrows in a side parting.
Like Lamar.
Yes!
Excellent.
I auditioned for Fame Academy.
Did you?
Anyway, another story.
They were the times.
They were the times.
Because I auditioned
Yeah.
for Maria.
I auditioned for Pop Idol.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
You need to tell the podcast that you auditioned.
And I went down to Brixton Academy at 3:00 in the morning to queue up to audition to replace Kim Marsh in Hearsay
Oh.
when she'd left. And then they replaced her with a bloody backing dancer anyway. Fix. I had cornrows,
Internally
which
sourced.
was... I'd be crucified now for cultural appropriation. I had cornrows, which when I took... So I had gingery hair.
Yeah.
And
Did you have it then?
it's obviously stretches your hair, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
when it came out, my...
Is that why you've got no hair now?
No
Just broke all your follicles off.
My very dark roots grew. And then I took out these very tight plaits. And I had an afro similar to Macy Gray's, if you remember her. When I Tried came out. And she had that kind of ginger.
I remember her ginger, yeah.
It didn't last long. I washed it and it all went straight in.
It's a look.
It was a look.
I had my headshots done with my worst haircut ever, and that was 2001. And I'd gone to, you know when you imagine you look like a model, so you take a picture in to the head, and the hairdresser was like hot and really cool, and he was like, and I was like, can I look like this, please? And so I basically had like this weird like bleach blonde bob, but then like a black fringe like this, and then like long blonde bits that came over the top in spikes, and I looked like, I don't know, like a monk. I looked like
very like, I could also be an Atomic Kitten.
Yes, because that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had some headshots done. So that's immortalised, but not on the internet, thankfully.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
So let's bring it back to something relevant.
We could
sorry.
going on.
Just chatting.
Stories.
We can talk about this later.
Yeah.
But so you're 44.
I am.
How's that feel? No, I'm just joking.
After a full day of choreography, how does that feel?
Well, I had to have a nap and take a painkiller. So feels great.
Good.
But
what I was going to say is, where you going? Like, what now is like your goal? Are you working towards anything? Are you dreaming of anything? Are you reaching for anything? And I've got kind of S Club 7 in my head.
Let's not go there.
You're welcome. It's hard because it's sometimes out of your control as well in this industry. Like, you can absolutely send cover letters out and you can approach agents and you can audition if things come up, but the things worth auditioning for are the things my agent puts me up for, and then you're in a mix with however many other people, and I could have brown eyes. I have got brown eyes, and they want someone with blue eyes.
Right.
You know, or I'm 5'11", but they really wanted someone 6 foot. And I'm 44. I'm bald. I have a grey beard. I'm glad you're finding humour in this.
It's just...
So...
It just sounds like... All of these could be advantages. Just really selling it.
We must put a picture up because you are
Please do.
actually very attractive.
This is filming. But, so I look older than my age for, like, castability. Like, if I was 54 and looked like this, great, I get all the parts. I hope. if you're listening. Anyway. So
Give me a call in 10 years.
Just call me. Toss. I look...
Could you say you were 54?
No.
Could you?
Because then what happens in 10 years?
Okay.
When I get granddad role. I mean, there's not a line
you don't
on my
look
face.
old for
Thank
your
you.
age.
I have a very strict moisturising routine.
Yeah.
Look after your skin, gents and ladies, but gents. Because everyone's like, oh, no moisturising. I use serum and anti-eye gel and hyaluronic
Anti-eye
acid.
gel.
Anti-eye gel. No eyes. No. Be gone. Eye bags. And also, I don't know if you realise this, you don't see dads on TV with no hair. Unless they're a bad guy.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
So you'll have your Phil Mitchell, you'll have your Max Branning. I mean, I'm
Go
just
back to
listing
EastEnders.
EastEnders
Yes.
characters. But,
They've
because
been
I was
more
on it
fun.
that one time.
Oh,
Yeah. But, or, like,
Why
action
not?
hero.
Let's bring
Because
that back.
TV tells us things.
Yeah.
TV implants what we should imagine something is.
It's like everyone always in London always lives in this amazing house that no one could ever afford.
Yes.
And they're both teachers.
Yes.
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 And no one's face moves.
No one's face moves.
A bad guy or The Rock. I mean,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or Jason Statham or
Yeah,
Bruce
okay.
Willis after
Okay.
Die Hard. Or if you live in London, you either live in that lovely house or in Bridget Jones's flat under the tube tunnels.
Yes.
No in between.
No.
I mean, we have nice houses.
I can't believe
So
this
you've gotta be a-
snowballed dads.
You've got to be a baddie, or you've got to have muscles and take
Yes.
on the world.
So, or you're what my casting is, which is tradesman,
Okay.
lawyer,
Yeah.
policeman.
Okay. But none of those are dads.
No, I sometimes get seen for dad. I don't tend to get dad roles as much anymore. Whereas in my 30s, full head of hair, got a lot of dad jobs.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who can we ask about that? We need to start a petition. But that's like women saying they can't get work for like after they're 30. What were you saying the other day about?
Yeah. Well, late 20s to then sort of
45.
Yeah.
mid 40s
Yeah.
is really strange because you've got
Mums can only be old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's awful. Do you know
Are you
what?
small? Are you too big?
A friend of mine is tall. So, and went to Lippo years ago. And then people were like, yeah, you probably won't get cast in anything till your mid-30s, so you can play a mum.
Yeah.
It's like, are people in their 20s not tall?
Yeah, people
Like-
young people.
And this
young
is what amazes me then with the castability of people. It's like, oh no, we have to show a broad spectrum of society,
but no
but we're going
dads.
to exclude all these people because they don't fit into the idea of what we want society to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
You know,
want it
it's-
to be normal
Yeah,
because we want to be able to relate,
yeah,
but we don't want it too normal.
yeah.
So
Because
that
people
we
won't
can-
actually look like you
Yeah.
until they're 35. But they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is. We're
I can't
just
think of a tall young actress now either.
no.
I can think of older young tall.
Yeah,
Oh, now
This
you've
is funny,
ruined
isn't it?
every BBC
everything,
TV programme for me
everything,
ever.
absolutely everything ever.
Great.
You're welcome. I would like. What's my goal? I would like to. It's weird. I still feel like a fledgling person in this industry. I still feel like I'm like slowly working my way up. Bear in mind, there's been a pandemic, and then a writer's strike, and lots of hurdles. I didn't get back into this until I was 35, you know, and I got back into it after doing lots of amateur shows and not having any TV experience whatsoever. So learning on set as a background artist, as a supporting artist, watching actors, watching how they do it, how not to do it sometimes, and just absorbing it and taking any opportunity that came. And I'm still learning. And 35 years later, I'm still learning. And so my advice to anyone is just keep learning. Never think that you've peaked or that you're owed anything or that you deserve. Everyone's working hard. Everyone's chasing the same thing. Everyone wants the same thing. Make sure you have some skills behind you that are transferable. Make sure you've got revenue streams. Just keep striving for a life that makes you happy. That's the only thing. Don't be stuck in a job you don't like. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be the next bloody Kardashian or what's the face? Zendaya and Tom Holland. Like, it's not about the money. It's not about the celebrity. I wouldn't want to be a celebrity. I wouldn't want intrusive people trying to bloody stalk me and.
We just want to be paid.
I just want to be paid doing something I love doing.
Yeah.
And for some people, that's sales, and that's wicked. And for some people, that's teaching, and that's amazing. Or it's being a doctor, and that's amazing. Unfortunately, they weren't my calling.
No.
And that's all it is. That's my calling has led me to a life of poverty and pot noodles. And
You've had your popular time.
I've been popular.
That's your
Popularity, poverty, and pot noodles.
That's,
That's the name of this week's episode.
well, that's the name of your autobiography.
Yeah.
I can't write an autobiography. I'm too flighty. I'd get 3 chapters in and go, I'm bored now.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about
Bored
this.
of yourself.
I'm bored of myself. You wouldn't think it the amount I've talked. That's the good thing about this industry is no job lasts that long.
Yes.
So it's always
We feel like we kept going so long. 6 years is not that long, but I mean, we still love what we're doing because it's nothing. You can't stay the same.
no.
Because
You
no
have
one's
to evolve.
interested and you have to evolve,
change
and
you have
that's
to-
why it's still exciting and fresh, and you're still learning and challenging yourself. Yeah, but that's good. What do you think then about the title? Because you wouldn't know, but what our kind of tagline for our podcast is "Just do it anyway." And so most podcasts we end at the end of the thing, we go, so if you're blah 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 and you're blah 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 blah, then da 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 da, and just do it anyway. And most people we interview kind of say that, like, if you thought about your younger self, what would you say? And then most people kind of say, I'd say just do it, just go for it. And you're like, get a job.
No.
What do you think about that kind of
Absolutely just do it. And I wish I could go back to being as confident as I was 22 years ago, because I thought I could take on the fucking role.
Yeah.
And I really wish that I hadn't let life beat me down a bit, which it does, and it sucks, and you start worrying about what other people think, and you start worrying about how you look and how people perceive you. And if I could go back and speak to 22-year-old Ben with his hair and his jawline and his 4-pack abs, never had a 6-pack.
A few piercings.
A few piercings.
Same, yeah.
I'm like, just fucking do it. Just do it. And I wish I hadn't taken so long to get back into it, because I let the fear kick in. I let the fear of, but what if you're not good enough? What if people don't? The people who've said you were good are your friends who came to see you in a local theatre, and they're obviously going to tell you you're good. And it took me a while to realise that I've been doing this for a long time. If I'm not good, there's a problem, and something's gone wrong somewhere. So just having an awareness of my ability has kicked in. And in any other industry, if I said to an insurance broker, I need you to do me a quote, are you good at them? And they'll go, yeah, of course I am. But if you turn around to an actor and be like, are you a good actor? Yeah, of course I am. Oh, you're really big-headed. It's different. It's weird, isn't it? Own your shit. Go for it. Have some skills.
Yeah.
Have some transferable skills.
Yeah.
Set up an Etsy shop. Do something.
Yeah. I
Sell-
wondered what you were going to say, set up a Etsy shop.
Sell something online. Make it out what you will. Make some diamond paintings. Who knows? Have some transferable skills. And my dad went upstairs. I'll do it in a second. I will, I'll do it. My dad went upstairs to get changed and dropped dead. You know? We've all lost people. You'll all lose people. Not whilst listening to this, hopefully.
We might have lost a few.
No,
of
but
our
the
audience.
point is, life's short. Life is really short. Just fucking do it. Just do it.
With skills.
With skills.
Yeah.
With some transferable skills. But just do it.
Thank you for
Was that-
conforming to our
You
values.
proper shoehorned that in at the end.
Wow, no, I was
No.
interested to see if you didn't think that.
Yeah.
Because
I do
originally
think
our
it.
podcast
Yeah.
wasn't going to be called that, and it's just kind of evolved to a lot of the people that we talk to kind of think, actually, but at the end of the day, that. But I was just thought maybe we found someone who doesn't think that, and that would.
No, it is. I think what's interesting is, and a lot of people I've spoken to over, it's that thing, isn't it, where the older you get, the less you care.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to people much older, and they're like, "Oh, I wish I'd done this," and I don't want to wish. I don't want to get to a point where I'm wishing I'd done something.
Yeah.
So if you want to go travelling, go travelling. If you want to set up your Etsy shop and sell pottery willies, do it.
Okay.
Not you.
Maybe I
But
do.
maybe you do.
How did you know?
But maybe you
How
do.
did you know?
Maybe you do.
Okay, I
We
will.
can't even get
Sorry,
a studio,
Susan.
let alone a Free Willy shop.
Little kiln for my.
Well, thank you so much
Thank you for having me.
after a long day being on our podcast.
That's okay. I only did it because she promised to make me dinner.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, and because I love you both.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Good.
of course. Well, we can't wait to. We should make sure we work with you in some capacity.
Yeah. Put on a show. Let's put on a show.
Let's put on a show.
Very professional.
Yeah. Okay.
When?
Top
When?
bill.
Who has time? I'll just pop along to Shaftesbury for rehearsals once a week, shall I?
We haven't got a gig till May.
Oh, I know, tell me that.
No, we're not gigging.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's okay.
It's been a pleasure and a joy.
We really hoped you enjoyed our chat with Benedict. Feels weird to call him Benedict.
It does. We just know him as Ben. So. But yeah, we really loved speaking to him, and we hope to work with him again at some point.
Yes. Now, if you are listening to this podcast and you're up to date with it, then we want to let you know that next week is the last week of season. I cannot believe it's the last week of season 3.
I know.
So that's so exciting. But we like to do a little question and answer session. So we did mention last week, if you wanted to send in any questions, please do. And that offer is still open over the next couple of days.
Yes. So do send them through to us, and we will do our very best to answer them. Honestly.
Yes. Meanwhile, if you've got a creative project, or you're going through a bit of a hard time, or you are dealing with a teenager, remember,
Life is short.
so
Just
just do
do
it
it
anyway.